On a football pitch, there are two games being played at once. There is the one that you can see, the passes, the tackles, the shots. Then there's the invisible game, a constant and silent conversation that is happening between the nervous systems of all 22 players. Ever wondered why one team full of talent completely collapses under pressure whilst another seems to get stronger? It's not magic, it's neuroscience. There are invisible currents of energy that are passing between players on the pitch, and the teams that win consistently are the ones whose leaders know how to control them. Now stay with me, because today I'm pulling back the curtain on this invisible game. Now, first of all, you have to understand that a team's culture isn't something you write on a wall. A team's culture is its collective brain chemistry. Every single team operates in one of two dominant neurochemical states. First, there's the cortisol culture. Now, cortisol is the primary stress hormone. In a cortisol culture, players are driven by fear. Fear of making a mistake, fear of being shouted at, fear of failure. On the pitch, this looks like players hiding, players taking the safe option. They're passing sideways, they're passing backwards, hesitant, protective, and ultimately it leads to failure. Then there's the dopamine oxytocin culture. Dopamine is the molecule of motivation and drive, and oxytocin is the neurohormone of trust and social bonding. In this culture, players are driven by the pursuit of success, and they have a deep trust in their teammates. They feel safe enough to take risks, to try those defense-splitting passes, to play with freedom and creativity. Now, the single biggest factor that determines which culture your team lives in, it's the team's leaders. A leader is the thermostat for the dressing room's neurochemical environment. Now let's break it down to how they do it. Great leaders are a source of oxytocin. Oxytocin is released in the brain when we feel trust and psychological safety. A leader creates this environment when they take responsibility for a loss, or when they give credit to a young player, or when they make it clear that a mistake is a learning opportunity and not a crime. Now here's the crucial part. Oxytocin is a powerful modulator of the brain's threat response center, the amygdala. So when there's more oxytocin in the system, there's less fear. It neurologically gives players the courage to be brave on the ball because they aren't consistently crippled by the fear of the consequences. Great leaders are also a source of dopamine for their teammate. A leader's specific engagement and their belief in their players can powerfully engage their dopamine systems, which will then fuel motivation, focus, and the drive to exert effort. Now, this all comes together in what scientists call co-regulation. Now, imagine your team has just conceded a sloppy goal. The crowd is on your back. Panic is starting to set in. Now, most players' brains are now firing off threat signals. Their amygdalas are screaming, and their prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain for calm and rational decision making, it is starting to go offline. Now, here is the very important part. If the captain or the influential leaders in the team start screaming, blaming a defender, their panic, their dysregulated nervous system is contagious. They are pouring their cortisol and their anxiety into the team's invisible network. This is co-dysregulation. But the true leader, in that same moment, they demonstrate composure. They get the ball, they demand it back from a teammate, and they play a simple and confident pass. A calm demeanor, a result of their own prefrontal cortex controlling their own amygdala. This acts as a powerful social cue of safety. It sends a signal through the invisible network that says, we're okay, we're in control. Now, this helps their teammates' brains co-regulate. It calms their threat response, and it brings their prefrontal cortexes back online so they can think clearly once again. Now, this isn't psychology fluff. This is actual biology. This is the neuroscience of how your brain works. This is also the level of detail that I go into when I consult with major organizations like Nike, where I've consulted for their elite athletes. Now, we don't just look at physical performance, we look at the neurochemical environment of the team, and it always starts with the leaders. Now, I explore this concept deeply in my book, Use Your Brain, Raise Your Game, but here's the secret. To influence the team's network, you have to become an absolute master of your own internal network. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot transmit calm if you're full of anxiety. And that is where conditioning becomes everything. Now, inside my Football Mind Gym platform, we have specific guided mental training sessions to help you to do just that. We train you to master your own brain state, to strengthen your prefrontal cortex's control over your amygdala, so that when the pressure's on, your automatic response is calm and focused. And we help you to condition your brain to be a source of oxytocin and dopamine for your team, and not that source of cortisol and stress. Now, if you'd like to check out the Football Mind Gym, the link is in the description and in the pinned comments. But getting back to it, the invisible game is being played in every moment of every match. The question is, are you a beacon of strength in your team's network, or are you a beacon of weakness? The choice is yours, and it starts with training your own brain. Now, if you did get value from this, please hit the like and the subscribe buttons. And if you're ready to master the invisible game, click the link in the description or the pinned comment to learn more about the Football Mind Gym. Now go out there and change the game, both of them.